Good morning. The sky is blue. The sun is out, but it is still chilly. And I'm going to be chilly by nature this morning. I'm going to offend a lot of people because I keep on seeing posters saying, support our NHS. Don't give our NHS away. Well, I would give it away for tuppence tomorrow. The doctors and nurses, rightly, have been thanked many times over. People have lit candles, have gone out and clapped, have beaten pots and pans in support of the doctors and the support staff, the nurses and so on, who are looking after us during this dreadful period. But that has nothing to do with the NHS. That just happens to be their employer. The NHS itself is a busted flush. Several instances in this region, hospitals have been threatened with takeover by the government because they're not performing efficiently. The idea that we will now have a central surgery, a big one, in Lewes, in our hometown, has been exposed. I have been going to the same surgery for more than 20 years. I've been looked after. They know who I am. I can walk in, and even before they look at the computer, they know what's wrong with me and what I'm likely to talk about. And so, during this lock-in period, I asked via the internet, as indeed was requested, to have some more medication as designated by my consultant, which is a change. I got back the same medicine and another medicine that is totally incomprehensible to me as to why I would get it, and that was that. I went back via the internet and said, thank you very much, but you got the wrong medicine. A deathly silence. This was last week. And I said that there is some urgency because the one medicine that I wanted I'm running out of, and it's quite important because I have Parkinson's, and it would help deal with my Parkinson's. So you see, I'm hatless this morning. When I'm angry, I go hatless. That's my sign. If you bump into me in the street, I haven't got a hat on. Be careful. I'm loaded for bear. But the fact of the matter is that building a big medical centre is not the answer. We should be getting closer. Our institutions should be getting closer to the people, not further away. It simply doesn't work. The NHS spent millions putting in something called the hub. The hub is supposed to coordinate absolutely everything. I still get letters sent out by this computer that says, urgent, don't forget, because you cost the NHS £150 every time you miss the appointment. By the way, your appointment we're reminding you about was 2 days ago. And it's been famous for that. Just simply doesn't work. The inefficiencies of big organisations are poor, to say the least, and in most instances are just absolutely incapable of delivering what they're supposed to deliver. So the NHS, I support, is to be reformed. As indeed, I argue quite often that big institutions, if they're reformed, probably are going to be okay. But nobody wants to reform them because there's too much gravy train. Ha! If I was collecting a pot, I wouldn't want to reform, would you? Even if it meant the organisation would be more efficient, that I would be serving the people whom I'm supposed to serve. Well, that is not the NHS. Whatever its objective, it is not to serve the people. Doctors, nurses, magnificent. I've never had a bad one. I really commend them. And I would beat the pot. And I would clap. But not for the NHS. Not as it's presently constructed. Okay, I'm going to rub a lot of backs up now with that statement. But the fact is, I sometimes think that the people that hang their poster in the window saying, save our NHS, somebody's going to steal it, the government is giving it away, are all just political. They haven't actually looked at the issue. The fact is, the NHS is an awful organisation. And until it's reformed, it will stay an awful organisation. What it needs to do is to look very carefully at what is required. It needs to look like a business. Doesn't matter if it's free or not. It needs to look and behave like a business. And until it does that, I, for one, will not support the NHS in its present form. Doctors, nurses. I have a wonderful consultant. I have a wonderful doctor. I have wonderful receptionists in the main. But somehow the whole thing has broken down because the wonderful NHS, it's not that it's under or overwhelmed by the present crisis, it's that it has managed to step towards being inefficient by expanding. Yeah, the reason given is it saves money. Well, it doesn't. None of these big organisations save money. It costs more. And nothing could demonstrate that more than our local authority, our district council, where they merged with Eastbourne, a neighbouring community, and where Lewis has suffered badly, because first of all the executives are in Eastbourne, so we get 20% of people's time, and it looks as if we only get 20% of the budget as well. If our reporter, Stephen Catlin, is correct, and he's rarely wrong. He knows where the bodies are buried. The answer is, oh yes, it's not so hot, is it? Let's form a unitary authority. In other words, let's make it bigger. And let's get more inefficiencies. And let's get more away from the people. It's true that every generation at university think that they've discovered anarchy. The fact that it's been around for more than 500 or so years seems to be beyond them. They've invented it. And we now seem to have a generation who don't look at the past. They don't put that into any sort of context. They just barrel on. Bigger is better. And I sometimes think that's just for their own personal aggrandizement and to make sure that their pockets are well stuffed with cash. Unpopular? Yeah. Well, if you see me in the street, don't hit me. Well, you can if you want, but an unpopular stand, but one that I would say that all reasonable people should at least look at before disagreeing and before just being like a lemming and saying, here's a man criticising the NHS. Yes, the NHS needs to be criticised. It needs to be reformed. It needs to be put back together properly, not in the form and the systems that it has right now. And it is a lovely morning. The sky is blue. The sun isn't warm yet, but I suspect it's going to be. This is Keith Hayes, at least tasting the little chill outside and enjoying it because it is pleasant. Go out there and try it. Toodle pip.